I've always kind of wanted to make a film about bullying, but I like a little spin, which means there's something kind of different about it. And so I was kind of looking into why the bully bullies more as than kind of as a lot of films focus on the victim. So I was looking at the bully herself and then looking into why that kind of thing would happen, and we focus more on domestic abuse.
There are 4 main human activities that use up the land. Name 2 important greenhouse gases. Why are they called greenhouse gases? These are questions that are going to be on next week's test.
What struck me about the way it was directed is that most of the sound was off camera, and what we had more was her reaction.
There was never a full-on script. I did a treatment, so I did a breakdown of all the scenes, and then I never actually moved it into a script because I felt like a script for this maybe felt a bit too much for actors, and I wanted them to be able to kind of have freedom to improvise.
Don't look at me, you don't know me, you don't know my name, so don't fucking look at me. What gives you the fucking right to look at me?
Betty, who plays the lead, all that at the beginning, all the swearing and stuff, and anything she does actually say is improvised kind of more in the moment. But as for the dialogue, the only people that really speak are adults, and that we never show any adults in this. It's only focusing on kind of like the younger people.
I'm tired of saying the same thing and it not getting through. You need to start making the right choices.
There was that moment in the film where the penny drops and you realise that girl A isn't so much the perpetrator or more a victim. What was your thinking behind that?
The whole film is kind of building to that point, and I feel like even though the audience don't know what it's building to necessarily, they feel like it's building to something. And so we wanted that to be like the most hard-hitting point. The actual making of all that noise was the director of photography and the producer Keith was stood in my kitchen. He was throwing mugs at the floor when we had microphones pointed at the floor, and then we built up all this audio. He's got like, I'm standing there with a mic as he's jumping up and down upstairs, so like it's like building up all this noise. So that took a while to actually create the noise of them having this argument. But then what my idea for it was something that Shane Meadows does quite a lot, which is going from big scenes of like complete chaos to absolute just like silence. Going from all of this noise to just nothing, I think is quite effective.
One real strength of the film is that you allow the film to breathe. There were some quite quiet, thoughtful moments in it that I think are quite brave as a director to pull off.
I was thinking kind of, do I actually need dialogue? And I did have some dialogue originally kind of scripted or like ideas for it, and I thought, no, we don't need this. It doesn't need, like, her face and how amazing she portrays this character really does tell the story on its own.
It was quite a sort of flat grade as well. Was that something that you'd purposely looked into as well?
It's actually something that me and Keith sat through editing, and we were kind of going back and forth, and we were going, I don't want it to be full on colour, obviously, because it feels like she's a very draining character. She's also very drained. The whole thing like kind of screams really drained, lack of colour, lack of excitement, very borderline, very like same pace all the way through. So and Keith was kind of like, maybe we should have it black and white, and we did play around with that for a while, and I said no, because she is not just black and white. She and her whole world, it's not, because what people are thinking is, oh, she's just a bully, and that's very black and white, and the fact that we're then looking under the skin as to why, it shouldn't just be black and white.
And technically as well, other thing I noticed, there was some nice smooth tracking, your gimbals, things like that. A lot of shots on the back of the head as well.
It was very much my original kind of pitch idea. Something which I actually said to Betty when I first sat down with her was, it's basically we are filming 72 hours of her life, and we are just putting in the bits that we want to. So I wanted it to feel like a kind of, in a way, like a documentary. But also, Keith suggested I watch Elephant by Gus Van Sant, and I watched that and I was like, wow, like I like that, and all the tracking shots in that, you kind of follow, you don't cut, you stay with her, helps build tension. So the tracking shots came from that, and we got to use this big like cool piece of equipment, a rig, to film that on. So yeah, it was definitely a new experience and something I definitely would do again.
The title's quite interesting. It sounds like a case study in a court or something.
Yeah, it's actually a funny story. I was trying to think of a name that suited the lead character, and I couldn't find any. I couldn't think of anything that really properly suited her. So in the treatment, I just called all the girls, all the characters that we had that were kind of named, girl A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And so obviously she was the first character, so she was girl A. And then we kind of realised that at no point we'd never heard her name. We never needed to hear her name. And also it was kind of an idea that she was unnamed and she was just a number. Just like we say, oh, she's just a bully. We just kind of, oh, she's just a number or just a letter. So yeah, we just stuck with Girl A, and we thought it was kind of catchy. Didn't give away a lot about the film either, which I liked.
And how do you feel about winning this very prestigious award at the British International Amateur Film Festival?
It's amazing. Sitting there today, looking through, watching all those films, such a high standard of films as well. I liked all of them. They were all really different. So yeah, it was very. It's an honour to win those awards. It was amazing.
What's your next step in the world of film?
Well, at the minute I'm doing my A-levels. I'm taking film and drama. But no, I've got a couple of things kind of going away slowly in the background. Kind of, I'm writing one currently about friend-on-friend coercion. I've been brought in to write something about that. But yeah, at the minute just A-levels. But you will probably see some more stuff from me in the next year or so.